What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick and I'm here with the FIFA 14 review. Yes, FIFA 14 has been officially announced by EA Sports, and yeah, they've revealed a few features, a few things here and there, and I'm going to be taking you around the main focus and all the features themselves. You're going to see screenshots on your screen throughout the review, or the analysis if you want to put it that way. You're going to see these screenshots on your screen which are in high definition. I picked out the high definition ones, and hopefully you'll like them. That is not really the point. You probably want to listen to me a little bit more, because that is more important really, because of the features I'm going to tell you about, because you won't actually see them on your screen. And so there's a few things, the game physics, and there's also a little bit of career mode I want to discuss, and some other ideas that I've come up with myself. But before we get into the review, make sure you follow us on Twitter at RealGGN, and me and David will read your tweets and we will reply if you have anything to ask. In the future, I'm going to be doing a Q&A, or me and David will do a Q&A, and we'll answer your questions. So feel free to ask me or David any questions you like. And of course, you met David in the previous video with Grand Theft Auto 5, and he knows, PC gaming. So if you want to ask him directly questions about that, or me, PS3, anything like that, we'll do a Q&A in the future. But let's get out of that topic, because that's not what we're here today to talk about today. I know you guys are really just looking forward to the FIFA 14 news, and let's get right into it. So the main focus for EA Sports is the build-up play. Now, what you think, what's build-up play? Well, if you're a football fan, obviously you're going to know what build-up play is, but if you're not, here's a quote I've taken out of an article that someone posted that EA has revealed. So, and I quote, "The changes introduced in FIFA 14 attempt to nurture the art of build-up play, of crafting an attack through the center of the park, with the hope that the resulting goal will feel all that more satisfying." So what they're trying to produce here is a fluid game style. So when you're building out from the defense through the midfield to the attack, basically when you've scored a goal, you feel like you've scored a goal. And also a physics engine I'll show you later. Well, I'll show you, and I will tell you, is going to help with making it that much more realistic. So let's start off with the other features, and let's begin with fluid dribbling. That is what EA Sports are actually calling it for FIFA 14. So the first thing is freedom when sprinting. So what I mean by this is, in previous FIFA games, you had a limit, okay? You had a certain degree limit, and that was 22.5 degrees for a sprint turn. So ignore the right analog stick. Think about holding R2, or I think it's right trigger on Xbox. I'm not sure how it works on Xbox, but R2 or right trigger. Sorry, was I thinking R2? Yes, that's the one, the sprint button. Okay, whatever your sprint button is, R2 or RT, and hold that and just move your left stick in a 360 direction. Just keep moving it around, and see how your player moves around, and you'll notice that it's not completely sharp. Now with FIFA 14, EA have said you can move whichever way you like, with sprinting, without sprinting. Of course, we already know without sprinting there is the 360 degree dribbling, but now you have full 360 degree motion dribbling when sprinting, when you're holding R2 or the right trigger. Now, there is a new thing called the physical force of momentum. What you're probably thinking, what on earth is the physical force of momentum? So now, obviously we have the player impact engine, but there's this new thing that they're bringing in where momentum in the body itself, or momentum of where you're sprinting to, will affect how the game plays out. So now you can't, just change instantly. You can't change direction, I should say, instantly. So you can't, hold R2 and then turn the other way. Like I said, you can move in a full direction with sprinting, but if you do that, it's probably going to come with a consequence. So the weight, will shift from side to side. So that's what a new animation is. So when you're turning, when your weight shifts from your back leg to when you're going to start sprinting, the defender might get an edge on you because you've turned a direction really quickly. So you're going to lose a little bit of speed, and then eventually gain it. Even if you're faster than the player that you're actually turning away from, you're going to have to gain that little bit of pace over time, because the momentum shifts. So they wanted to balance it out, obviously giving the strike or the person on the ball the advantage of having this 360 sprint degree dribbling, so you can quickly change your sprint, which way you want to go. But then they also want to balance it out by giving the defenders an advantage that they can that the attacker has to, there's a consequence that he can't, go at full speed straight away. There'll be a bit of momentum hanging in his back leg, and then he'll pull away eventually. So the defender gets a chance to make a tackle there and gain a bit of ground to make things fair. But if he's fast enough, he should be able to, break away, sort of like you will see in real life. Also, there is apparent, animations themselves. So throwing your arms out from, just waving them around, trying to shield the ball, that sort of thing, and things like that. So, just running with the ball apparently even looks more realistic. So I guess we'll have to see how that happens. Maybe the touches are a little bit different, and hopefully that looks good. There is another thing I believe that I've come up with here, and I think EA have called it variable dribble touches. Now, I think that's how you pronounce it. Variable dribble touches, that's right. So this means the ball won't be auto-stuck to your feet. So this means the defenders will have a better chance to tackle you. So what this means, to put it in perspective, a comparison with FIFA 13, FIFA 13 had a good first touch system, but this now doesn't just work with the first touches. So now, when you just go to dribble the ball, you could lose the ball if your player's stats aren't very good. So let's use, I don't know, it doesn't matter what player. Let's say you're in the middle of the field, you've got the ball, and you want to dribble the ball around a little bit. Now, the touches could be slightly heavy, they could slightly go to the left, slide to the right, pretty realistic, or maybe they could get stuck under your feet randomly, and that is what I think EA are trying to bring here. Randomness to the game as well that you'll see in real life, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know they've only the tweaks for FIFA 14 are minor. You'll obviously know after the video. They're very minor, but I'm kind of glad they're minor because there really is no need for them to really change the game. There is one thing though that I'm upset about, and I'll let you know that a little bit later in the video. Moving on to the next feature, and that is ball protection. And you would have seen it on one of the screenshots. It might have been the first screenshot actually with Wolfsburg, and I might put it back on now, I don't know. Whatever happens, or you can go back and have a look. And you can see the guy, his foot is on top of the ball, and he is shooting the ball. Now, you're probably thinking, well, shooting's already in the game. You can just press, I think it's, I'm not actually sure, I think it's R1 on the PS3. I'm not sure what that is on the Xbox, but I think you can stop the ball, and then you can just shield it. But now, on FIFA 14, you can move and hold up play. So you can have your back to the goal, and you can sort of start moving back towards your goal, holding it up, and then lay it off for a teammate. And this is something I've been waiting for so long, because the target men of FIFA are really a waste. There's no point of them, there's no point of a target man if you can't hold the ball up and lay it off, and this will bring out the best of their abilities. And also there is something pretty unique, and if you have the ball, let's say as a midfielder, so obviously, as I just said, if you have the ball, you can, put your back to goal, start holding the ball up by moving. But now there's another way the AI can do this. So let's say you've got the ball in the midfield, and you have a striker who's a target man up front. The AI, who will be that target man, he will automatically back himself into the defender, and sort of point towards his feet and ask for the ball to be dropped there. Basically, he's telling you, pass me the ball to my feet, I will hold it up, make a little run in behind, and I'll give you the ball. Or, peel off, be a decoy for someone else to make a run. That sort of thing. So, that will really, help. And then once the AI receives the ball, obviously it will turn into you, so you will be that control. But at least you're already in that position. So get prepared, to hold the R2 to get into that standing dribble or that moving dribble, which you have now in this game. Also, now, as I said, oh, sorry, I actually just said R2. It is actually L2 for FIFA 14. It was R2. That's the one. That's what someone mentioned. It was R2 in FIFA 13 to do the standing dribble. You'd press R1 to stop the ball, or RT to stop the ball, and then you'd press R2 to do the dribble, the standing dribble, I think. Yeah. Well, unless it's changed around. Well, anyway, from the article that I read, it said R2, but isn't that the sprint button? Anyway, I'm just going to go with what they said, but now it's just L2 to get into the move. So that is much more friendly. It's sort of like that jockeying, the way he holds up the ball. So I'm really looking forward to that and how that will go. Now I want to go in depth with build-up play. So I want to, bring build-up play. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, that is their main focus, and this is sort of an overview of that. So with play building up to an attack, there is now a bigger focus on what's going on around you. So defenders will mark tighter, and they'll make better decisions when it comes to tracking runs and that sort of thing. They'll be a lot more smarter, basically. They'll know what to do, even when, you've got the ball, so they're thinking about what's going to happen. Now, defenders judge players' movements through multiple frames, rather than just the single frame that was used in FIFA 13 and in previous titles. So, in FIFA 13, the defenders only had a single frame, which meant they would only think of one thing, and that's it. Now there's multiple frames, so, they will have, split decisions, multiple decisions. Should I go with him? Should I go with the other guy? Maybe they'll go for the better one, or maybe, they're not such a good defender, they might make the wrong decision, and they might go for the other split frame and go for the wrong decision. So, there'll be, some unique things there, and hopefully that, brings out the best in FIFA 14, and just the way the AI works, and the way it makes the game feel a lot more realistic and animated. What is next? Now we have defenders. So now when we're defending, so this is, there I was mentioning when we're attacking. Now when we're defending, your team will defend much more cohesively, so by boxing out threats and cutting out usual outlet passes. So let's use it in an attacking sense. It works better that way. Let's say I am running, let's say if you're Australian, Shinji Ono, okay? They used this as a good example last night on kickoff, and they used the Fox Sports active thing. I can't remember, I can't actually think of what it's called, but Shinji Ono would get in between the midfield line and the front line. The back line. He would start taking it towards the back line, and then he has options. So he has options to his right, to his left, straight through, everywhere, because he has good vision. Now, in the game, they're going to make the defenders smarter to try and cut out those options and, start boxing out. And then you've got to think of a way to counter that. Should I keep going? Should I take a shot? Should I feint? Should I come back? Should I pull it out to the side, play with the wing, use some wide play? Or should I keep going narrow and, take on that last defender, who will be much smarter, as we already know now? And some screenshots you will see on your screen actually throughout this video. You'll see, some of the tackling and that sort of thing. So this whole function also works with attacking, as I said, but the actual physics of attacking. So players will now check their runs. So I'm talking about the AI. Now, if you're running, as again, I'll use that Shinji Ono example, or let's use a Shinji Kagawa or Wayne Rooney example, when he's just gotten behind the midfield line and, he's starting to get towards the back line and starting to threaten the opposition sort of around the edge of the box, or, a little bit further out, 35 yards out, roughly like that. So now your players around the back line, they will start, now they can do it, in FIFA 14 they would just make diagonal runs, which was good, they added diagonal runs, or they would just make straight runs, that sort of thing. Well, now they will check their runs, so if they think they're going to be offside, they will stop, they'll come back and support you, or something like that. Maybe if it's like a Robin Van Persie or Wayne Rooney player, they'll turn on defenders. So, as I said, that target man sort of thing, or maybe a Chicharito Hernandez, he could put his back to a defender and then just instantly turn him, giving you that option of putting a through ball in behind, and that I could just sense how good that would feel, putting the ball in the back of the net. And also just running along the defensive line. They will start running on the defensive line, sort of across field, and giving you that extra option, not just diagonal runs. They will sort of signal, give me that little run there, and they will make the run. So things like that will be unique, and also the visual aspect will make you feel like you're playing a FIFA game. So by visual aspect, I mean the target man. Let's use the target man, for example. He will, with his back to goal, he'll point to his feet for you to pass the ball to him. He will, sort of make some kind of signal to tell you to put it there. Or as I said, the Hernandez situation, he will ask for a through ball, basically, obviously, through to on goal. Now, that's pretty much it for the build-up play. That is their main focus. They want to make the transition from defense through midfield to attack feel much smoother, and to make you feel like you scored a goal. So obviously that authenticity hasn't been in past FIFA games, which, I'm really interested to see how it goes. I'll be playing the demo, and I'll review that when it comes out, probably late August, or actually, did the game come out October? I'm pretty sure it came out late September. That's normally the release date. And so whenever the demo comes out, I will explain that. But let's go on to probably, I think this is the biggest feature. Now, they are obviously focusing on build-up play, but this, I guess, coincides with build-up play as well. And this is called pure shooting. Now, you're thinking, isn't shooting fine in FIFA? And I actually am, I can't express how happy I am about this. Now, David, obviously, he probably doesn't play much FIFA, but I could tell you right now, if he played FIFA for about a month, and then he tries FIFA 4, obviously I haven't tried FIFA 14 yet, but even just hearing this news, you would feel, that much more relieved that they're putting this in. So basically, have you always wondered why your shot will go horribly wide when you're, when you're perfectly balanced, when you reckon you're going to score, and then when you're not balanced and the ball is stuck at your feet and you can't get it out, but it still somehow goes in the back of the net? Well, that's because FIFA 13 and previous FIFAs haven't had an effective shot physics engine. And now, with pure shooting, the ball will swerve and move, and it will just move around in the air much more realistically, and your player will shoot with new animations that will represent how and where he is shooting from. So let's say the ball gets stuck under your feet, okay? On the edge of the box, you're on the edge of the D, your player will go and, he will sort of shoot the ball, in a really weird way, and that is what I can't wait to see, how a player will shoot the ball when the ball is stuck under his feet, or it's bouncing around, or he's just off balance completely. And there's actually a little bit of video footage, I think that's the one I'm going to show you right now. This is where I'm going to show you the video, so have a look on screen. This is all to show you ball physics, and keep an eye out on that. And that is sort of what they've shown off with the FIFA 14 engine. Anyway, so as I said, how will that work? So obviously he's not going to shoot the ball properly. It is, going to completely stuff up, and the ball will probably not go in. And I prefer that because sometimes when it didn't look like going in, it would go in. Now, I don't mind that being randomized. Now, that can sometimes happen. You could fluke a goal. Wayne Rooney, every now and then you'll see he doesn't connect with the ball very sweetly, but it still rolls in. And I hope we see that in a little bit more. Maybe that will add to the randomness and, the animation of build-up play and that sort of thing. Also, there is this new sort of little feature thing, and the way it will work is when you actually have the ball stuck under your feet, or you go to shoot, with that split second you've got, you'll be given enough time to think, crap, should I let the shot go, or should I feint, come back and stop, and rethink your options. So in that situation, you're better off obviously not shooting and passing to a teammate. So it'll give you that option to think about what you're going to do. Now, players will also adjust their feet properly to shoot. So instead of just hitting the ball randomly, they will, pull the ball out, roll it for themselves, and, give it a good whack, and they'll set it up properly. It won't just be, your general animation where he just swipes the ball through. He'll set it up and then give it a nice hit. It's not going to turn out very boring and just, classic FIFA basically, just how it's been. Now you'll notice the grass on a lot of the screenshots. I think the grass is going to be super flat again, which is a little bit annoying. A lot of the screenshots, it looks like they've just put it at the front of the screenshot and then it fades away at the back, which is a little bit frustrating and, unrealistic, but hopefully they fix that up. Anyway, as I was saying, EA have now made the ball movement much more realistic. So this is still on the pure shooting aspect. So with the ball swerving in flight and dipping like pretty much like an MLB knuckleball, you're going to see a lot of Ronaldo-like shots, and I really can't wait to see how the ball dips. And there is also, you'll see in the video footage here, the test demo, the Steven Gerrard sort of shot where the ball starts low and then rises slightly. That will happen every now and then. Shooting is a lot more realistic, that driven shot, and a lot more things like that. But anyway, here's a quote from EA about what the engine actually is. So this is what they've said about the engine itself. And to be honest, it confuses me. If you don't understand what it is, I'll try and explain it. But anyway, and I quote, "The shot engine for FIFA 14 is a non-linear drag coefficient which more accurately imitates the flight of the ball than the extant linear deceleration algorithm." Yeah, what on earth is that, you ask? Well, basically what they mean by that is they've changed basically the algorithm, so the coding of how the ball moves. So they've given a certain number, which is a randomness number. So when you shoot a ball, that ball will swerve in the air. And now I'm not sure if they've actually added whether the wind will play a part in this, but when the ball curves, it'll give a little bit of swerve mid-air, it'll dip, and you'll see that again in the footage that's either passed or it's coming up on your screen now, and you'll take a look at that. So that's it for pure shooting. I really like that feature. I'm really looking forward to see how it goes. It is probably my favourite feature out of all of them, maybe the build-up play as well. And the one thing I wanted to quickly note before we get into a little bit of career mode, The player models look the same, maybe a bit more high definition. You can't change that. And the one thing I wanted to mention that I was talking about earlier that really pees me off, and that is the crowds. EA, why haven't the crowds been fixed? Now, to be honest, I was hoping the main focus of this year was atmosphere. The crowds being improved, full 3D. Like, I know they're 3D, but they still look pixelated, and they could look a lot better. Better animations, at an away game, the away fans go nuts while the home fans boo, and the away fans go wild, they cheer, have flags in their little away bay. And at home, certain clubs like, say here in Australia, the Western Sydney Wanderers, behind their main goal, they have a active support group where they all stand, 3 bays full with flags, and they're all red, standing, and they stand out from the rest of the crowd. I was really hoping they would, bring that feature in and start effectively working on that, but obviously it looks the same. Maybe it's just early footage, but I'm going to go with a no on that one. Let's move on to career mode, and you're going to see a couple of screenshots right now of career mode. And this guy, his name is Matt Bilby, and he is using Tottenham Hotspur. And firstly, I want to read what I got on my notes first before I'm going to go over the screenshot and what you see. But first of all, the only thing to really note about the look of it is the actual user interface. And this, in my view, is by far the best career mode interface we've ever been given. It looks amazing. It's just starting to look a lot more like, high tech, and I really like it. I can't stress that enough. That looks really good because I'm a massive career mode player. But unfortunately, it looks like they're keeping the Spurs name, and I don't mind having Spurs where it says preview Spurs v Chelsea, but the fact they've got it in the Barclays Premier League table, I absolutely hate. It's so unrealistic. I don't like it. Hopefully they fix that, and that should be fixed. So let's go into the screenshot that we got on the screen. So first of all, we have Central. That is what you're seeing on your screen, obviously. So first of all, play match. Obviously, you go play your league match. It tells you who you're versing. Obviously, it's got Chelsea there, so it's Tottenham v Chelsea. Then you got sim match. You can probably sim your match. And then we have preview, and this is like kind of a really cool news item. Spurs v Chelsea, and then it says Spurs play host to Chelsea on Saturday in an early battle for 4th place. And then we don't have actually any things coming up on there telling you to open it up in a bigger format. So I'm going to assume you can open that up bigger, but I don't know. You can see under the Tottenham picture there, the Gareth Bale and Lennon and those guys, Holtby. You can actually see a white circle, or filled in black circle in white. So maybe you can tab over to the other feed, or maybe that is the RSS feed there, because it says Gareth Bale in great form, scoring in back-to-back matches. That's a pretty cool, unique, how do you put it? Just graphic, basically. I like the text. I like how they're doing it. Match preview, Fulham versus Aston Villa. That's pretty cool as well. And Robin van Persie's goal keeps Man United clear of City at the summit. I like that one. I really like that one, and I really like the images they've used. You can see it's custom made, because it's got Van Persie and then sort of like a red theme, and then Bale's is the same, just blue themed. I really like that. It looks professional and that sort of thing. And then of course we've got the table, as I said, United on top. Go United! They are my favourite team. And let's not talk about that. Actually, let's talk about the table. Slightly underneath, you can see there's another white dot, and so maybe top goal scorers, fixtures, that sort of thing might be the other tabs. Then we have the global scouting network, and it's dark black, so I'm assuming this guy's on that and he's about to press X, because that is the next screenshot that I want to talk about. But there you can see it says M Miles. I'm gonna guess that is the scout name. I don't know. I'm gonna assume. Now it's got 2 exclamation marks. Now one's green, one's blue. One has 7, one has 8. Now I'm assuming that means that they are important players that they've come back, and you can see it's an easier way to access it. Now I'm going to move over to the next screenshot. Alright, here we are. So here we are with the same guy, same account, and he's obviously gone into that screen. So I'm going to assume now by pressing X, or A I think it is on Xbox, and you go into that menu, this is what comes up, because you can see Kieran Clark there again. Now, This is quite interesting. It's something I wanted to really discuss. Now, we have transfer scout reports. So obviously, he's gone in from transfers. He's got recent. Then he's got it's sorted by attackers, midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers. Now, the first thing we notice is his name, and then the wage. I think I'm going to assume of the player. I'm going to assume that is the wage of the player. So we've got Cortez. I think, is it Coates or Cortez? I don't know how to say Sebastian's name. Gabriel Oberton, Miquel, Baker, Suso, and Kieran Clark. So, you know, some good youth prospects, and obviously you can scroll down. And now I'm assuming those blue notifications meant new. So I'm going to guess back, if you go back to the other screenshot, that means that they are updated and recent. So I'm going to guess that. Now, what I wanted to figure out is, what does this mean on the right-hand side of the screen? Now, obviously, it tells us it's Gabriel Oberton. He's 24 years old. He's from France, and he's a right mid, and he's plays for Newcastle United. But what does all this mean? So he's a winger, but what does dribbling mean? Does that mean he's good at dribbling? Does that mean he's an effective dribbler? And now, if we look at the stats now, I'm assuming this is potential, obviously. So if this is potential, I'm trying to figure out why it says defending 1 to 99. Now, my only assumption there can be is this. Well, there really is no assumption. Why could Oberton be very good defensively? And you can see where the green zone is. It's saying he could reach around 80 to 90. So that's a little bit worrying in my view, that he could reach that peak, because that's unrealistic. Maybe they're going to fix that up, I don't know. But I don't see him reaching that defensive stat. So obviously, the green area means that is what they are likely to peak at. So obviously, athleticism, 78 maximum, 70 for technical, 64. If this is real, I don't know if I'd ever use him, because 64 ain't the best rating for shooting. Passing, 74. Defending, obviously, I said. Mentality, 75. And that's always something good you want. Again, there is tabs. So what will those tabs be used? We'll find out. And also, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screenshot, you can press Y, or I think is Y triangle. I think triangle is Y on PS3, and that would change the view. So I don't know what will happen with that. Now let's go back to the first screenshot. I actually just forgot to mention this a moment ago, so I'm going to go back to it. On the central screen, we have squad next to it, so I'm assuming that will take you to your team management. I wonder how that will look. Will it come up with the, you know, the pitch and the formation thing? That'd look pretty cool. Transfers. Obviously, that's another way to get to the scouting network, I assume. Office, so I'm assuming that's emails and other things like that. It's got 5. And season, I'm going to guess, is the league table and all that sort of stuff. A little bit more in depth than what you see on your screen now. So that is it for the career mode section. And there are a couple of other notes I quickly wanted to mention before we end the video. Now, I'm hoping and expecting the match intros are much better and a lot more TV-esque. So you know how it opens up with those two balls, footballs with the logo on them. I don't know, I didn't really like it. I wasn't a fan. You know what would be pretty cool if they showed, you know, a pre-game sort of thing. They went up to the commentators and, you know, showed the two commentators talking. That would be pretty cool, you know, just for maybe like 20 seconds or even just 10 seconds saying, you know, introducing, coming up next, basically. It's Tottenham versus Arsenal next on EA Sports, whatever. And then it would cut to the stadium with none of that ball crap. And then it would just cut to the stadium, you know. Maybe don't bring out the players so early. Maybe stay in the tunnel a little bit longer. I'd like to see the intros and entrances a little bit longer. You can skip them. So if people complain, why would you want them longer? Well, I like the realism of the game. If you don't want it, skip it. It's not that hard. It just looks so much more better. And as again I said, the crowd improvement is a shocker, so I'm not even going to bother with that. And the other final thing I wanted to mention was celebrations. EA, you're probably not listening to this. Obviously, I'm not that popular, but you know, we here at GGN aren't that popular, so probably won't be seen. But please fix celebrations. Honestly, when I'm in a Man United vs Man City and I score a late goal with Robin van Persie in the 90th minute, let's just use that for an example, or an Aguero winner against QPR in the final minutes. I run away and don't feel anything. The game, when you're doing the celebration, it doesn't feel right, and it just does not make you feel like you've scored a last gasp. We're not, let alone against your rivals. Even more, like, why is there no added reaction from the crowd? Why can only 2 people go into celebration? If I score a last minute winner, I want to be able to go dive on the ground, have everyone jump on me, or make the cutscenes happen again. If it's a last minute winner, make it an epic cutscene. I prefer the cutscenes because they're a lot more real life. Like, I do like that you can run around and do your own thing, but a lot of the celebrations are fake. People don't do them. So they could either leave those celebrations, put extra men into the celebration, and maybe use realistic ones instead. But anyway, that is it for the video today, guys. I hope you guys are really looking forward to FIFA 14. I am. We will have reviews coming up over the week. Maybe one or another two. I don't know. Whatever comes out, whatever fancies us, basically, me and David will be back with some more. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, again, at RealGGN. You can, as I said earlier, tweet us. I was actually going to say tout us for some reason, but no tout. Tweet us, and we will respond to your tweets most of the time, unless we get too many, which is unlikely at the moment. But more importantly, you can like this video if you enjoyed it. Yes, smash that like button. That is completely up to you, but, it doesn't take too long. Make sure you subscribe to stay in touch if you want to see more content that we produce in the near future. Now, I'm really excited for FIFA 14, but the main question is, are you?